1-1, full time, draw. 2 points dropped at home against Aston Villa. Disappointed, yeah. Not quite as disgusted as I was when we played Arsenal 2 days ago. But yeah, this feels like an opportunity lost. And I hate to start with a negative, but I'm gonna, because that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. And there was some rotation in here. And one of the players that got rotated in that, frankly, I wasn't expecting. When I did my pre-match video, I was expecting Zuma to be paired with Rudiger. But Christensen came in. And, Christensen's had his moments, and both good and bad. But the big question, I think, for me is he tough enough? Is he tough enough to be a center back in the Premier League? Mentally? Physically? Right now, I don't want to call a guy soft, but no, I don't think he is. That equalizer, 5 minutes gone in the first half, the equalizer that comes in, Grealish goes by him and leaves out a leg. He does, and it clips Christensen as he's coming through. Stuart Atwell, the official, looked like he was going to call a foul on Christensen, when it was obvious to me, I may have had a better view on TV and replays and et cetera, that it was Grealish that bought that foul. Christensen goes down and stays down. 30 seconds later, the ball's in the back of the net. Ball gets switched across, gets over to Cash. Cash goes far post. It's basically not a tap in. It was a nice finish, but El Ghazi with a nice finish. Azpilicueta's overloaded on the backside. He's between two guys, goes over his head and put in. Christensen's still on the ground. Now there's a time and a place to be on the ground. That wasn't it. If you're going to be on the ground that long as a center back, you better come off. You better be injured. You better come out of the game. You shouldn't be. If you were down that long, you can't be fully fit and back running again as soon as the ball's put back in play. That to me it's inexcusable. I'm disappointed, and I'll be surprised how much longer Christensen's going to be at this club. Silva's going to probably be there another year. Zuma's locked in the number 2 spot. Tomori's on his way out. Rudiger may be on his way out. There may be some new blood coming in, and I think, based on what he did in Germany, he's got some resale value. I was extremely disappointed. Overall, he had an okay game, but he doesn't impose himself. And I'm not blaming this loss, or it feels like a loss of 2 points on Christensen, but that to me summed up his career in a nutshell, which was flashes of good, and then big question marks on whether he's tough enough physically or mentally. And as a center back, you can't stay down there. You cannot stay down in that position. You just cannot. All right, moving on. Let's go to some of the good. Christian Pulisic misfired a little bit, but otherwise was dangerous. But for me, the good was that he was able to put in 90 minutes. That's good. On 24 hours rest, basically. They played 2 days ago. So he had play a game, day off, play another one, played 90 today, and looked good doing it. That was good. Callum Hudson-Odoi, hot and cold. Overall, I thought it was a good performance. I thought he was better on the right than what we've seen out of Werner from a wing, which we have, Timo Werner's not a wing. We keep seeing these stats. He hasn't scored in 10 Premier League appearances. He's played about 40 minutes in his natural position as striker. So, before I'm ready to put a verdict on him, before we put a verdict on Werner, which, he's a young guy, he's going to get several years, but before I'm ready to write him off for the season, I want to see him play some striker. Speaking of strikers, I thought Olivier Giroud was really good today. He started off in the first 20 minutes or so with a couple of really nice touches coming back into our own half and then flicking the ball on or dropping it back. He had one play where he chested the ball down to Kanté, who then sprung Callum Hudson-Odoi on a break, which I thought was really nice. Overall, the team's just lacking right now. You look at the two teams; they both played on Saturday. One team only made one change, and that was a forced change because a player was sent off. Mings was sent off. So 10 of those 11 players for Aston Villa all played on Saturday. If I watched that game and I said one of those teams only made one change and the other played more rested players, who would you think it was? They absolutely flat out outworked Chelsea. And it's not that the Chelsea players are lazy, but there's no movement. There's very little movement without the ball. It's like a two-man game. I don't know how many of you watch old-time NBA, but they do isolations. And that's how it feels. It's like you get a two-man game where you try and do a 1-2, spring a guy through, or send a guy in across. And once Giroud went out, and without Zuma in there, the corner kicks and the crosses, the last 30 minutes, those weren't going to happen. So we were basically, with a couple, aside from taking some shots from outside, we were basically toothless in the last 30 minutes of that game. That's disappointing. The combination play I mentioned in a Twitter video at halftime, that's how it felt like the first 30 minutes. And at 30 minutes, it really started popping. The left side especially. Chilwell, Pulisic, Mount, and Giroud, all in a square, working their triangles, running off the ball, interacting. And then all of a sudden, a goal comes. What a surprise. What a shock how that works. So Aston Villa fans have a team that they can absolutely be proud of to watch because those guys work their socks off. Wrote down some names as I was watching them. Just McGinn, El Ghazi, Grealish, Cash, Traore. Again, which of the teams made 4 or 5 changes and which of them only made 1? That's disheartening. Watching a team like that just come on into Stamford Bridge, just flat out outwork them. So what's missing? I don't want to pin all this on one player, but when the teams are going to play back like that, one of the things we're missing is that killer left foot of Hakim Ziyech. We're absolutely missing it. He was brought in to unlock those low blocks like that. And Aston Villa doesn't park the bus. What they did do, though, when they were resting a little bit, they'd rest with 11 guys behind the ball. Good for them. Try and break us down. Chelsea didn't have any luck doing it. Who helps break those down is Hakim Ziyech. Chelsea is absolutely missing Hakim Ziyech. When he's come in, he's created a lot of big chances, especially for the tall center forwards who are going to be in with Abraham and Giroud. Or we saw in the preseason, because that's about the only time they were on the field together in their favored positions, was Werner at striker and Ziyech at right wing, where Werner can get in behind. It's going to make a huge difference. We'll see what happens with City, with them getting their COVID cancellations. Chelsea might not play, and then they're off in the Premier League until the 15th. So 15th is Fulham, and then there's a 4-game stretch after that, beginning on the 19th. So Ziyech, if he's going to get healthy, it will be like a new January signing coming in because he hasn't played. He really hasn't. So hopefully he gets fit, he comes in, and he starts making a difference because nobody's running away with this thing. You string together 3-4 wins in a row, you're going to find yourself top of the table. I thought Liverpool was about ready to do it. They dropped points too. This is a crazy season. This reminds me a little bit of Leicester City's title-winning year when 85 points could do it instead of 98, 100, 103 like we've seen the last couple of seasons. This is going to be, nobody's running off and hiding. Nobody is. So get everybody fit, get everybody going. I'd like to see Timo Werner in a central position. Play 2 strikers if you have to. Instead of a left wing, play him as a left-sided striker. That's fine. But let's get him more central. Let's get everybody fit and have some rotation back. Things will be better with Silva and Zuma in there. We miss him on set pieces today, Zuma especially, and the forward progressive passing of Thiago Silva, which he's been doing a lot more of. Missed that today. Hats off to Villa. They came down from 1-0 and they worked so hard out there. And like I said, Aston Villa fans, you've got a team you can be proud of. I enjoyed watching them, minus Jack Grealish diving all the time. But, I can overlook that when you got, as hard as he works, I can see why you might be big fans of him. So on to City. Hopefully that game will be played and Chelsea get back in the win column. It's a big chance on January 3rd of 2021. That's my birthday. Maybe I'll have a big 3 on instead of the old Yokohama kits. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment at the bottom. I will certainly respond. And if you can, hit that subscribe button. Go Blue.